The year 1994, the non-religious and non-political organization Children's Ark International was founded by the Swedish couple Leif and Anita Kratz, and has been working to help children in need in different parts of the world. Since 2009, Children's Ark Greece is working in the middle of segregated Roma settlements in Corinth in Greece. Maria Kratz-Larsen is here searching the camp for parents with children that need to get enrolled into the public school. Literacy is a major problem here, as is heavy drug abuse, crime, poverty, violence against women and children, lack of basic medical attention. All this leading to even more segregation. A community of 150 families, of which more than half are children. Children's Ark believes that only through the long-term practical solutions will we ever be able to create a new generation and make them find the way out of this futureless misery. It's not easy, but it's not impossible. Today we see clear results of our work, with more children attending school and young parents that a few years ago just were little children themselves becoming aware of the importance to form their own future and change the future for their children.
The Roma people, often called gypsies, arrived from India centuries ago and moved throughout Europe. Denied professions and land, they roamed in caravans with trades handed down through generations. Musicians, craftsmen, horse traders, performers. They were objects of suspicion and mythology, victims of persecution, discrimination, slavery, and genocide. Today, an estimated 10 million Roma live across Europe. They come from diverse tribes and clans with varying dialects and religions. Pushed to the margins of society, the Roma have made their homes in cities, suburbs, and isolated villages across Europe. Roma communities face eviction, harassment, deportation, overt public racism, ethnic violence, and pogroms. In 2010, hundreds of Roma were expelled from France, while in Italy, thousands have been left homeless as their camps are systematically demolished. According to the Washington Post, the deputy mayor of Milan has described gypsies as dark-skinned people, not European, like you and me. Fewer than 40% of Roma children receive a basic primary education. 26% of Roma in Central and Eastern Europe are completely illiterate. Roma communities have minimal access to healthcare, resulting in a child mortality rate 3 times higher than majority populations. In Romania, 68% of Roma households reported having their children go hungry for lack of food at least once in the previous month. Most vulnerable of all, Roma girls often face child marriage, early childbirth, and community pressure to abandon education. Roma are also the fastest growing demographic in Europe, with a young population in search of a living wage and a place to make a home. They are doctors and lawyers, beggars and performers, students and teachers, voters and leaders. To survive and prosper, they fight entrenched poverty and distrust with hope, education, and activism. Roma are European citizens, endowed with full rights and responsibilities, but largely excluded from the benefits of democratic freedom and economic progress. But recently, lawmakers and international institutions have been putting Roma on the world's agenda. The European Union is working towards a common Roma strategy. The Decade of Roma Inclusion, a coordinated 10-year effort by 12 countries in Central and Eastern Europe, aims to measurably improve Roma welfare by 2015. Since 2003, the National Democratic Institute, or NDI, has empowered Roma communities to speak out and make change real through the ballot box, media advocacy, and local government. Change is happening. In 2004, Hungary elected Livia Járóka as the first Romani member of the European Parliament. Throughout the region, Roma are entering politics as local councillors, mayors, and members of parliament, looking to give their people a voice in government. In Slovakia alone, voters elected 29 Roma candidates, including one woman, to lead their communities as mayors. Armed with new political tools and a strong belief in their own ability to affect change, the Roma are advocating for a better life and reconciliation through civic activism and community organisation. Who are the Roma?
Sunt Rom.
Io sono Roma.
Ég er Roma.
Ja sam Romi.
Soy Roma.
Me Roma.
Eu sou Rom.
Yes, Romane.
Je suis Rom.
Ja Rom.
Man Roma هستم.
Ich bin Roma.
Ma Roma ha.
We are the Roma.
In the ex-Emilia Roma settlement, activities start early in the morning when Children's Ark staff is accompanying the youngest to the public preschool. We also run a daycare center in the heart of the Roma community. After school, the children come here, and volunteers and staff serve them a simple, nourishing, warm meal. For some, maybe the only meal today. The tables are cleared and the books come out. The rooms are busy with children of different ages reading homework, preparing them for the next day in school. This is such an important routine. These kids have nobody at home who can help them learn, and learning is the key for a better tomorrow. The children want to learn, and we have a serious responsibility to ensure that pictures like these from this camp in Greece or these from France never become like the pictures from our terrible past.
Imagine you're walking down the street with your child in your hand. A police officer comes up to you and says, hey, that child doesn't look like you at all. That can't be your child. And then just grabs the child and takes him away. That, in fact, is what has happened this last week. Roma children being taken away simply because they had blonde hair, and according to the pat stereotype, they could not be Roma as such. The Roma are the scapegoats for every wrong that takes place, and are the ones to blame when there is a problem. And the people are ready to believe anything about Roma that is criminal, precisely because the prejudices against them run so deep, or so deeply embedded in many European societies. These cases now that have been reported in the media are arising in the context of a surge in anti-Roma violence in a number of countries. We've seen mobs going into neighborhoods and threatening action, and in some cases engaging in violence, from the Czech Republic to Slovakia to Hungary. When people are suffering the effects of austerity and economic deprivation, it is very easy for them to turn their blame to the least powerful members of their communities. And unfortunately, we've seen political leaders all too willing to fuel those prejudices and fuel that diverting of attention toward the Roma, simply because one can. The challenge is for people in these societies to see that what is happening to Roma could happen to them. And what is needed is for leaders of government, leaders of European institutions to stand up and say, ladies and gentlemen, Roma belong here just like everyone else. We are all part of the same society. We are all free and equal. We all have the same rights and the same entitlement to dignity. It's time for us to get serious about policies that include Roma and advance Roma in education, in the economy, in healthcare, in every aspect of public life.
Children's Ark, in cooperation with volunteer doctors and organizations like the Hellenic Red Cross, is administrating hundreds of vaccinations to children in the Roma settlement. Diseases like hepatitis A and TB are not uncommon in these communities, and this activity has proven to save lives. Health, leisure, and sports are important. The Roma Football Academy, created by Children's Ark, is one example of how non-formal activities can make a change. Not just playing ball, but the interaction with caring adults, the advice, the discipline, the listening, and the being heard. especially for the young teenage boys, helping them to stay out of trouble and drug abuse and guiding them through the dangerous years of growing up. Through the sports, we can guide these bright young talents past the many crossroads and into lives of success. Too many young Roma men are sadly wasted in misery, crime, imprisonment, and early death. Children's Ark is working with the young Roma generation. What does it take to shape the future? Can anybody really make a difference? Can anybody make a difference even for one person? Is your future settled because of the house you grow up in? Is it the road that you take home from school every day that decides your fate? I don't think we can save the world, but we do believe that we together can make this world a better place.
Do you want to listen to a story? Θέλετε να ακούσετε ένα παραμύθι? Yes! Μπράβο! But we need some magic. Αλλά χρειαζόμαστε λίγη μαγεία. Ναι? Ναι! Okay, everybody do like this. And then we do... Όλοι κάντε αυτό εδώ. Με τα χέρια σας.
Don't eat me, please.
Why not? Γιατί όχι?
Maybe I can help you one time when you need help.
Ίσως να μπορώ να σας βοηθήσω μια φορά όταν χρειάζεται βοήθεια.
Do you think that you can help me? You are just a little one, a little mouse.
Ίσως ότι εσύ μπορείς να με βοηθήσεις. Είσαι μόνο ένα μικρό ποντικάκι.
Oh, you never know. Things can happen.